Welcome to Learning Out Loud, a space for honest conversation as life is happening. I'm Kate, and this podcast is about the moments that shape us, the stress, the growth, the uncertainty, and the lessons we only learn by living them. I'm not here as an expert with all the answers. I'm here learning in real time, sharing what I'm discovering whilst holding space for those figuring it out too. So, wherever you're listening, walking, driving, or just taking a moment for yourself, I'm really glad you're here. Let's learn out loud together. So let's begin with a debrief of the week. Oh my goodness, I feel like I've been back in full swing, which has been amazing. I'm on it with my gym routine. I've been trying out some new workout classes. I've been attending my Pilates. Diet is on check, and I'm right back to the point where I wanted to be, which is incredible. So I feel on top form, feel much better now that I've got some sort of control and certainty back in my life. Now, I'm not sure if she's in shot, but last week we had Benny featuring, but this week we've actually got a new puppy. I have discovered a new hobby of mine, which is fostering puppies, because especially with the amount of people leaving the UAE the last few months, so many dogs have been abandoned and surrendered and things. So the organisation that I adopted my little Benny from also fosters and rescues puppies as well. So I've decided to take on this little fur friend, and I'm sure many, many more. So yeah, I've just had a really, really amazing week. Momentum's been back at work, closed a few deals, and just feeling on top of the world, basically. But what I wanted to talk about today is how insanely quick life can change, and how more often than not, when these moments come, we're never fully prepared for them. 1 minute, everything feels certain, mapped out, and comfortable, and then the next, something shifts. A person leaves, a job falls through, or a plan just doesn't go the way we wanted it to. And naturally, we turn inwards. We start to question everything. Why is this happening to me? What does it mean? How on earth am I meant to move forward without this person, thing, or vision in my life? But something I've really been sitting with recently is this. Not every pause is a setback. Sometimes it's space. Space that's been intentionally created for you to realign, to reflect, and to figure yourself out on a deeper level. The problem is we don't see it like this in the moment. But subconsciously, and we're all guilty of this, we have our lives mapped out in our heads. Our relationships, our friendships, careers, and timing. And when the reality doesn't match the vision that we so perfectly created in our heads, we start to panic. We think something's gone wrong, and it hasn't. Something leaving doesn't always mean a loss, and falling apart doesn't mean failure. Once again, it is simply just making space. Rejection is redirection. But this is something we have to actively train our brains to believe. Let's look at it from the surface level. A breakup feels like a loss, but it can actually be clarity, freedom, a chance to pour that same love you gave to somebody else back into yourself and make space for something better aligned. Same as losing a job. It can feel scary. As uncomfortable as it is, it's actually a space to pivot, to trust, and to step into something greater that you can't quite see yet. And that doesn't mean that these things don't hurt. They do. They challenge you, they stretch you, they make you question everything. But there's always potential in them if you're willing to look for it. And this is where all, if not most people, struggle. Sitting in the discomfort. I've said this so many times, and it's because it matters. Most of us, and I've definitely been there before, we skip this part completely. We rush to distract ourselves, to replace what we've lost, to fix things as quickly as possible. Or we swing the other way and just sit and wallow in it, replaying everything over and over again. And that's because the discomfort feels unsafe. So we avoid it. But the truth is, you don't need to escape the feeling. You just need to understand it. You need to learn to sit in that space without rushing for answers, to be okay with the not knowing, to allow things to feel uncertain without numbing it with bad habits, distractions, and rebounds. Because this is where the real shift starts to happen. This is an opportunity to come back to yourself. Instead of overthinking, instead of staying stuck or constantly looking backwards, start asking yourself these better questions. Who am I without this person, job, or situation? What is it I actually want now? And if I'm being honest, now I'm away from it, do I really want to go back? Now, I've even had these same questions in my own head. When I look back at my life before I moved and everything I've achieved the last few months, what felt like a loss at the time has now been one of the biggest gains in my life. But when I first arrived here, I didn't know the kind of life I was going to lead, the person I was going to be, and the things I was going to do. I sat through the discomfort, I sat through the questioning, and I sat through the struggle. And now I live to tell the tale. These moments when you ask yourself these questions really strip everything back. And what's left is you, the real you underneath the noise, the routine, and the attachments. And this is where you rebuild intentionally, through the small things. For myself, it's the routine, the workouts, the journaling, the walks. But for you, it's simply just being intentional with your time and energy. Because not everything that feels good is aligned. Same as not everything that's aligned feels good straight away. Realignment can feel lonely, uncomfortable, and slow. But you need to trust that it's putting you on a path that actually fits you. And that's what matters. You don't need to control everything, and you're not always going to understand it all straight away. Sometimes the only thing you can do is trust that something is being worked on behind the scenes that you just can't see yet. And while you're in that waiting period, use it. Use it to find yourself again, to grow, to realign, and to become the person you've been trying to be. So if you're in a moment right now where things haven't quite gone to plan, don't rush to fix or replace it, and don't make it anything about your worth. Sit with it, learn from it, and redirect it. Because you're not stuck. You're just in the part of your story where things are changing. Now, as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and I'll speak to you guys next time.